All right. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the FF Face Off, and it is time for Wild Card Weekend. If you want to call it Super Wild Card, you want to call it Wild Card, we don't care. Football is being played. There's money to be made. All that fun stuff. So we're gonna go through these games one by one. We will start off from the top on Saturday at 4:30, and we'll go all the way till Monday Night Football. I'm even going to be polite and let you guys know what all the streaming services the games are on, because that's a thing nowadays. So there you go. My name is Michael Hopp. You can follow me on X at the FF Realist. I am joined by, first I'm going to go with Steve D'Angelo, who can be followed at Fantasy Savvy. Steve, sweetheart, how is by you? I always call Anthony sweetheart, so that's nice.
Yeah,
I've now jumped onto you, but
I'm the new sweetheart now.
yeah, you are, buddy. How you doing?
Oh shit, I miss those times. But yeah, shout out to Anthony. You know, we'll dedicate this show to him tonight. We'll make some good picks in his honor. But yeah, doing well. It's good to be on with you guys. We haven't been able to do many shows together at all this year, so hopefully next year we'll be able to grind out more shows together, come up with a good plan. But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a playoffs. The first game, is going to be the most predictable game, but the rest of the game should give us some great entertainment.
There you go. Joe Carlton also joins us. Joe, you could tell us where people can follow you, because that's too much for me to read, but how you doing, buddy?
I know. I didn't go simple with the handle. It's at Points by Hand, Carlton. Without, there wasn't room for the O, so it's Carlton, like the cigarettes, or like Carlton Banks from Fresh.
You tried to get him more letters? That's it.
It's not as bad as Ernie's though. Ernie's with the Anani.
Ernie's is rough, yeah.
And I also do shows on the Sports Affiliation as well.
Great channel. Also, of course, my Monday co-host with me is Ben, who can be followed at FF Rabbit Dad. A lot less characters to read off, so that's why I did it. Ben, how's it going, buddy? And do the color of the ears mean anything for your predictions?
You know what?
They
good
not,
question. I mean, maybe they do accidentally, and we'll see.
Subconsciously, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a subliminal message.
Maybe there's something here.
All right, there you go. And joining us is Chris, who can be followed at Cronster. What is it? At Cronster SRQ, right? So
SRQ.
My eyes haven't left me yet. I'm reading that off of StreamYard, so there you go. But Chris helps us out a lot. Yeah, Chris helps us out a lot. If you guys are on our Discord, which we'll be pumping out a lot more stuff there, trying to recruit more people during the off season, but Chris is he's really the lifeline to our Discord. Without him, we're just knocking rocks against each other trying to make a fire. So with Chris, we'd be lost. But Chris, how's it going, man?
Not too bad, man. Just haven't been on cam in a while. Looking forward to getting through some of these games with you guys. I'm just looking forward to playoff football, man. It's going to be an exciting weekend. A lot of games I'm really interested to watch.
It's going to be exciting and or heartbreaking, depending on the team that you root for, which we will get to in a little bit. But I will say, Pete Nova just asked me, when are we going live? And I just said now. And
4 minutes ago,
he said, cool, I'll be there shortly. Don't forget Packers game first. Well, the Packers game is not first, so we're not going to do that first. So fuck you, Pete. You don't show up on time. You don't get to dictate what game we do first. There you go. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. There you go. Chris, for you saying, by cursing on air. There you go. So cursing's fine. We're good. We can do that.
Start with a bang.
Let's start off with we'll start off with a bang, but we will, Steve, you I believe you alluded to it. The game that kicks off this weekend is probably the most predictable game of the weekend. Steve, I'll go to you first here, though. I will just introduce it. It is the LA Rams at the Carolina Panthers. These spreads were taken a couple hours ago. So if they change, they probably change minimally, but Rams are favored by 10.5. The over-under is 45.5. Steve, this game again, Saturday at 4:30 on Fox. I will go to you first here, Steve. What are your thoughts on this game? Feel free to give me your predictions as you talk about the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's the NFL playoffs. We've seen some crazy things before, but it's just the Panthers already beat them once this year, which I think helps the Rams case even more. They beat them 31-28. Stafford had a pick 6 in that game. Another pick, I believe he fumbled the ball as well. So everything that could possibly go wrong, pretty much went wrong for the Rams in that game. Bryce Young played a hell of a game that game. 15 of 20, 206 yards, three touchdown passes. Hubbard and Dowdle were effective on the ground as well. Coker had a touchdown. McMillan had a touchdown. So, they played a hell of a game, and they're home. They're the NFC South champs at 8-9. Obviously all those teams were kind of the same. The Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints, the Bucks, they all could have kind of represented the NFC South, but it was the Panthers who made it. So you expect a revenge game here from the Rams. You got McVay, who's a wizard, and Stafford, and Adams is coming back. And we all know how good Matthew Stafford is, the MVP favorite, and Devontae Adams, a Puka Nacua, is just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, he just continues to seemingly get better and better as we continue to watch him, making just unbelievable catches every single week. So, as much as I like to be contrarian and, try to, be different, and everybody and their mother is picking the Rams, take the Panthers. I just can't do it. I think the biggest thing here is it's you get that little bit of a revenge factor, and Stafford, McVay are really going for that second Super Bowl, and Adams wants to get his first as well. So, I mean, the total is 46. I think Carolina could put up some points in this game. Chasing the Rams. I think the Rams are going to put up like 30 over 30 points. So I would take the over in this game. And the spread, you could see Carolina getting a late touchdown maybe, but you wouldn't be surprised to see the Rams kind of blow this game out too, but you never know. Could be a close game. I mean, it could be like a touchdown game at the end. Maybe the Rams score a touchdown at the end, or maybe the Panthers score. So I'm not going to mess with the spread. I think I would go with the over here, over the 46. And then I do have one prop here, if you want me to throw that out now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, give it to me.
Devontae Adams, I believe he had 2 touchdowns the last matchup. He's a touchdown machine. I mean,
are you taking my same prop?
There was like, we could share it. We could share it.
But there was like,
what was it, like 7 weeks in a row that he scored a touchdown? So it was almost something like that. 6-7 weeks. It was like every week he was scoring a touchdown. It was just like given. And you get minus 125. I don't know if that's moved at all. That's what it was a couple days, but even if it's minus 130, minus 135, I'll still take the Adams touchdown.
So you're just taking the touchdown. I'm taking
anytime touchdown. Yep.
Anytime. I'll kick it to Joe next, but just because I kind of alluded to, like, are we betting together? I actually took Devontae Adams to score 2 touchdowns.
I like that too.
At plus 450. Adams has had multiple touchdowns in 28% of his games this year. So that is what I'm leaning on there. So,
I actually did bet that once with Adams this year, and he had 2 touchdowns. So what did you say? He's had how many games with 2 touchdowns this year?
He's had multiple touchdowns in 28% of his games. So that's real. But Joe, sweetheart, what says you on this game? How you feeling? And if you have a prop bet, feel free to throw it in at the end. But what are you thinking about this game?
Pretty much everything Steve said. I mean, I don't know if I have anything to add. I do think that I'm staying away from the spread. 10.5 is a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if Carolina kept it close, but I do think the Rams are going to win this game. Matt Stafford's in his, he is probably the NFL MVP. Devontae Adams is going for his Super Bowl.
Wow. You all the Patriot stuff in the background, not saying Drake May's the MVP.
Yeah, no, I'm a Matt Stafford guy too. I believe he's an elite NFL quarterback.
Sign up for that.
Same thing. It's going to be difficult for Carolina to beat them twice. Steve said everything. I mean, it's going to be hard to follow Steve for any one of us. Yeah, he touched on pretty much all of it. My prop bet, I put Matt Stafford 3+ passing touchdowns. I think this is
all right.
I think it's possible because Carolina has given up over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns to the tight end position, and the Rams like to use their tight ends. If Devontae, you like Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams gets 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. All it takes is a Terrence Ferguson would be my first choice. Davis Allen second for touchdowns.
Sure.
I think
I was going to say, to your credit, it sounds bold when you first say it, but when you explain it like that, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Well, he's had multiple games where he's thrown for 3 touchdowns. It's, not out of the realm. And there's always at least one blowout game in the wild card round. So, like I said, I'm not sure if it'll be a blowout, but I'm with Steve. The Rams are going to put up 30 plus. I like the over 45 and a half seems kind of low. I would have thought this would have been around like 48 or 49. So definitely like the over and the Rams to win the game outright. Not touching the spread. Gun to head. If I have to pick somebody on the spread, I probably take the 10 and a half points with Carolina. But I'm not comfortable with that. I do think that all 3 tight ends are going to get involved as well as Adams. I don't see getting much volume, but around the red zone, he's a menace. He's their number 1 red zone target. I don't know. I got nothing else to add. I suppose it's like you guys said. It's the most predictable game of the slate, and I just want to add of. In recent years, this is one of the tougher slates to pick winners from, not just this round, but going forward. Like once we find out who wins these games, the next round is going to be just as difficult to try to figure out. In my opinion, this is one of the the playoff contest. The first thing you want to do is map out a playoff tree on how you think it's going to play out. And that was a difficult process for me this year, more difficult than recent years. So
we'll have fun predicting the next round, but I'll go to Ben and then I'll go to Chris. Ben, I know there's a lot of verbiage that's been said thus far, so
many words.
Don't know how much more you can add. We'll ultimately flip in terms of who goes first. I'll be the curator on that. But Ben, what says you on this game? You can feel free to let me know the spread, the winner, over under, and then if you got a prop that you like, but go through it, man.
I do. I have a couple of things. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, it feels like this is kind of like the guy said. It's kind of like the one game that we kind of feel like we know it's going to happen. We know the Rams are going to win. I actually feel like it's going to be that close game, and I think that 10.5 spread. And I love my double-digit spreads. I have a really hard time avoiding this one. I think I would take Carolina's 10.5. I think it's going to be under the 10-point result. Their defense is not stellar, but it's improving. It's very minimally. It seems like it's improving to me. So I think at one point the Rams are going to be up enough. They'll take the foot off the gas. Carolina will be close enough. I do like the spread. I do also like the over. As for props, I got one for each team. I like Higbee over on Underdog. I got him at 2.5 receptions and taking the over on that one. I feel like the tight ends, as Joe mentioned, is going to be like a really good. If I could have found a nice Davis Allen prop, I would have absolutely smashed that. But I couldn't find anything other than like a touchdown. And I wasn't willing to do that. As for the other side of the ball, Jalen Coker over 4.5 targets because they're going to need to get air out the ball because they're going to need to get it around.
Okay.
And I love me some Jalen Coker. So I'm taking over 4.5 targets on that side of the ball. So that's what I got.
I appreciate the deep dive with the Jalen Coker, which Steve likes too. So
I love deep dive props. I love picking those guys that nobody wants. That just like, oh, sure, that guy might get 2.5 targets in a game. Yeah.
Yeah, 36.5 receiving yards for Coker too. I kind of like that.
That's a nice one too.
I think he went 4 for 74 and a touchdown against them last time.
Yeah, and he's taken over pretty much. He took all the snaps from Leggett, so he's kind of the bona fide number 2 guy now.
He would have been number 2 guy all year long if he would have been healthy. I mean, I would truly believe he might have even been like the number one guy started coming off, because I love how he finished out last season. Consistency and reliability, and just we didn't get to see it this year because he was out for the first like 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Xavier Legette, another reason why we don't buy into rookies heavily, just like Brian Edwards with the Raiders, which is actually a fantastic.
I like both those guys. I liked both those guys. They both.
Yeah, I hated them both. But Brian Edwards,
Brian Edwards, name pull.
Brian Edwards, I thought it was going to be like the next Anquan Bolden. I remember I was in love with that guy.
I was fighting people on Twitter for like days because I said Brian Edwards was going to suck, and everybody was like, "You're a moron. You're stupid. Delete your handle." Guess what, assholes? I'm still here. But I mentioned a Raiders rookie wide receiver who did not make it as some expected, and that's a nice segue to Chris, who is the Raiders fan and is and
that's why I said
we talked about it. We talked about how many times Mendoza was going to be mentioned. He is
zero
hopelessly
so far,
devoted.
not by me at least.
Well, I'm mentioning it. You're hopelessly devoted to Mendoza, but for now, give us your thoughts on this wild card game here, first game of the weekend.
I don't have a whole lot to add. Being the fourth person in the list to talk about the game, there's a couple things I wanted to touch on. One was the spread being 10.5. I actually would take that spread 10.5. I think the Panthers keep it close enough to cover. I think the Rams might open up pretty quick and pretty hot, but I do think the Panthers can, come back and keep pace with them. And I do think a lot of it will be through the air. As far as which segues into my prop, I'm taking Kyren at the over 14.5 rushing attempts. I think the Rams do get up early, and then they start slowing the drives down, trying to run out some clock, and it allows the Panthers to get back in. And then I think late third and through the fourth quarter, I think you're going to see a little bit more of a shootout or a closer game. The last thing I wanted to touch on was going back to Joe's point about picking the games this year. How much do we think that is because of the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs this year versus the years prior? No Burrow, no Lamar, no Mahomes. Like typically you see those games on the slate, and as long as they're not playing each other, you just pick that quarterback.
Yeah, the one seeds are Denver and Seattle.
Right.
With Knicks, no Lamar, no Mahomes.
Knicks and Darnold is the one seeds, is not something we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
I just thought of a player that we didn't mention from this game. I do want to throw it in before we move on off.
Do it. Yeah, get there.
I think he is involved in the garbage points that Chris was just talking about, the second half aerial attack for the Panthers, and that's Chuba Hubbard. I think he could get a handful of receptions, especially in the second half. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Don't hate it. Pete is in the studio, but he doesn't have a picture yet, so I'm not going to add him to the studio yet. He's probably connecting.
Probably finishing a steak. Probably finishing a steak or something.
Well, we'll just wait till we move on to the Packers game, then bring him in, and we can just tell him it's the first game.
There you go. Our first game that we're talking about is the Packers at the Bears. There you go.
There we go.
If you're listening, there you go. Ironically enough, it's the first game we're talking about, but it is the second game on the Wild Card Weekend slate, Pete, whenever you join us. But yeah, Saturday at 8:00 on Amazon Prime. Packers at the Bears. Packers are favored by 1.5. The over-under is 44.5. Before I go around the room, I will just simply say I have the Bears at plus 1.5. And here's my exercise. To me, this was the hardest game for me to predict. So I got the Bears at plus 1.5. I have the Bears winning. I am taking the under. I want to read the room. I want you guys to give me a reason to not take the Bears here. I want somebody to talk me into the Packers here. Pete, you decided to join us. Oh, I can't go to you first.
Not me first.
So you wanted this to be the first game we talked about. You showed up in the studio, and then I went to go to you, and you don't want to go.
I'm still trying to settle in. Dude, I just had to get all this paint off my face. I've been painting all day.
That's a deal for you. All right, listen. All right, we're gonna go Ben, Chris, Joe, Steve, then Pete goes last. Joe, if you have some shade to throw, Pete, before we move it on, go ahead.
I was going to say Pete might be the only one that's going to argue Green Bay out of everybody here, would be my guess.
I got some good talking points.
even though he told us not to go to him first. Be that as it may, Ben, what says you, man? Again, Packers favored by 1.5, over under 44.5. It's a night game on Amazon Prime, which, by the way, will be in the snow.
Yes, we always love our snow games up here in the north. Why doesn't everybody just get a good stadium with a roof on it? Oh, that's right, because Green Bay will never afford one. Anywho.
No, trust me, they're working on it.
Yeah,
everybody will have one soon.
Everybody in that town is saving up their pennies and dimes and nickels. Hey, maybe in 20 years or so, we can get ourselves a new stadium with a top on it.
Yeah. All right. Get on with it.
Going to get out of control. All right, back to the game. I got the Bears. I have the Bears actually at +3.5, +104 for the money line, and a 46.5 point spread. Again, I'm using underdog for mine because Minnesota. So that said, I've got the Bears, and you could make this a 10-point swing, and I'd probably still take the Bears. I think they're going to absolutely wreck the Packers. That's fine. I'm taking the Bears, and I've got a couple props for this one as well. But the first one I want to say Love. Under 30.5 pass attempts.
Oh, took mine.
Oh, sorry. Under 30.5 pass attempts. He didn't hit that mark in either of the first 2 games against him this year. And I also think this is going to go under on the over-under. So I just feel like we're not going to see a ton of scoring. And it's just going to end up being maybe a 12-point win for the Bears, somewhere around 10, 12 points. I just feel like there's no heart and soul on the Packers roster right now. They have no depth. We know this because they've done
bulletin board material.
Yeah, they could go ahead, post it up, put my face all over their locker room. I would love it. Anywho, so where was I?
Why do you hate the Packers so much? What happened?
Yeah, what happened? Who hurt you?
Yeah. I've got one person in particular in mind that I'm not going to do them the honor of mentioning their name. But
his name was Aaron Rodgers. But go on.
He's not there anymore, Ben.
No, it's not Aaron Rodgers. There's somebody else in particular. But anywho, granted, yes, we saw second and third stringers the last game of the season against the Vikings. But even those guys, I mean, in an opportunity, there's a bunch of guys who didn't have opportunities to play, and they come in and they basically don't care. And it also looked like that the rest of the last few games beforehand. Granted, they didn't have Love. They were missing Jacobs at times. It wasn't a complete team. But these are opportunities where guys who don't get the playing time should try and step up. And nobody did. It just looked like a bunch of guys out there playing through the plays and barely doing their job. It just feels like there was not a lot of heart there. And the depth is clear because the defense has been a wreck ever since Micah Parsons went down. So I'm all over the Bears on this one. I think it's arguably, in my opinion, the easiest pick of all the wild card games. And yeah, maybe my purple colored glasses are tinting my view a little bit. But at the same time, the Bears also have been putting up points, and you got to take into account the win record in 1-point games, which can go swing either way. But it also shows that they're able to put together those drives and run down the field and make scores when they need to. As for a Bears prop, I've got Kyle Monangai over 5.5 receiving yards. I think that's ridiculous smash on the over. He basically needs one catch and he could pass that one. So.
All right, there you go. Chris, you are up next, my man. What says you on this game? Packers at Bears, Saturday at 8 p.m. What do you got?
I agree with Ben. I think it's going to be a pretty one-sided game. I found this to be probably the easiest game to pick for me as well.
I like the
easiest game outside of Rams Panthers. Easiest game
outside of Rams Panthers. Yeah, I mean
okay.
We already talked about that one, so I guess for the rest of the slate, we'll just say Chicago was the easiest for me to pick. I don't trust the Packers defense at all. Like you said, since Parsons left, they've been a shell of what they were before. I don't know fully the current status on Jacobs, but with the on and off injury, if he's hobbled at all, I don't trust that. Love hasn't played the last 2 games. Sure, it's a concussion, but coming in rusty against a hot team, I don't trust that. And the Bears have been running hot. Like they've lost a lot. They've finished the season losing 2, but the offense has looked much better later in the season. I think Burden is heating up at the right time. I think Loveland's been looking really good. Caleb's been looking really good. I can't make the point to pick the Packers for you. I can't complete the exercise for you.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to find somebody. Joe. What you got? No, go for it.
I'm gonna go on my props. So I'm gonna do my props here first. So I took Caleb at the over 1.5 passing touchdowns plus 117, and I also like the Luther Burden over 3.5 receptions. I think that one should be pretty easy too.
Okay, I don't hate that. That's a good call. All right, Joe, you're up next. You can try and talk me into the Packers. So far,
I cannot do that.
Yeah, we go with this now.
I think the Bears. I'm taking the Bears to win outright. Obviously, the 1.5 points is a gimme. The game script. I'll go over the game. How I think the game script's going to play out. So Chicago's ran the ball fifth most rushing attempts in the league. Green Bay 7th most rushing attempts in the league. So there's going to be a lot of running going down in this game. I'll stick with the under. I think it stays under. And this is actually why I like Jordan Love under 30.5 passing attempts as well, not to mention the two games where, the first game, the game they won, he had 25 passing attempts. And the game they lost, him and Malik Willis combined for only 24 passing attempts. We know LaFleur likes to run the ball a lot. So, and Green Bay's weak Achilles heel at defense is against the run. They've given up huge rushing performances. Derrick Henry had over 200 yards. Dowdle had 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jordan Mason just had 94 yards on 14 carries. You can run the ball on Green Bay.
Sure.
So if the Packers lose this game, do they move on from LaFleur?
I don't think so.
That's talked about so much in Sports Radio here in New York, who are clamoring for a new head coach for the Giants. I think it'd be dumb.
I don't think I'd like to see it happen, but I don't think it does. Even if they do, even if they get absolutely boat raced, I still think they're like, all right, we'll go back with LaFleur one more.
Really, really quick before Joe finishes his point in the game, I'll go to Steve and Pete. Do you guys think if the Packers lose this game, do you guys think that LaFleur is gone or no?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. And Pete's shaking his head. He didn't want to answer that question.
I just don't think that this is not a great coaching cycle. Harbaugh is probably not going to be going to Green Bay. You're banking on maybe Stefanski unless you're going to take a chance on a young guy. And at that point, I don't think you want to slot in a first-time head coach when this team's been successful under LaFleur. I don't think it makes sense.
Fair. That's fair. Joe, do you have any other points you had, or can we move on to Steve, or what you got?
I wanted to give, since Ben took my prop, I'll give a Chicago prop, and I'll say Luther Burden anytime touchdown.
Okay.
The Packers in the last 4 weeks are almost dead last against wide receivers. They've given up 7 touchdowns and 635 receiving yards in the last 4 weeks to the wide receiver position. So,
yeah, I like that pick. I mean, I took a Burden prop myself, so I like that pick.
All right, we're down to 2 to try and convince me to sway and go pick the Packers. Steve, you're next up, buddy. You gonna convince me to take the Packers or what?
I mean, I don't have a strong conviction on this game, but maybe I could open up a little bit, and then Pete could take it home for you.
So what I'm hearing is I'm gonna let Pete do it.
Steve is the ultimate Chicago Bear hater. So
yeah, I am a Bears hater, but
Is
when
this
I look,
Justin Fields related or
that's basically how that's the origins of it all. Yeah.
no? All right, go ahead, man.
But anyway, credit to the Bears. I mean, Ben Johnson came in and he did a hell of a job in his rookie season, and Caleb too. I don't think he's been like very good overall, but you have to give him credit in the second half of these games and in clutch situations. He's getting it done, including against the Packers, a couple weeks ago when he threw that game-winning pass to DJ Moore. But both games have been close. The Packers should have won that second game. It was like, I was walking around outside watching on my phone and I shut it off. Then I turned it back on. They got an onside kick. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Next thing I know, freaking DJ Moore's catching a touchdown. So both games have been close. Bears have played close games pretty much all year. So I think this game is going to be close again. I don't see a blowout. you know, it's possible. Anything's possible, obviously. But the way Bears games have gone all year, they start slow and they finish strong. Can you do that in the playoffs, though? Do you need to start a little bit stronger here? But I don't really trust Jordan Love too much either. You know, and I think losing Tucker Kraft was a huge loss for them. I mean, the guy's an absolute force. You know, getting Christian Watson, you know, later in the season obviously helped. Getting Jaden Reed back helps. Jacob's been resting the past couple weeks. He says he's been, you know, he's very healthy. He's ready to go. Obviously, losing Parsons hurts. This is going to be, you know, this game could go either way. You know, I've kind of went back and forth. My numbers kind of tell me to take the Bears at home, but I'm gonna take the Packers here officially on this show, and I'll bet the Packers -1.5 here. I think if the spread is actually, you know, going now towards the Packers a little bit more. So interesting enough. I still don't trust Jordan Love fully, but I do like LaFleur. This is a veteran team. You know, you got Dobbs, you got Watson, you got Reed, Jacobs. Still got some good defensive players. So I think they'll get it done. I just, you know, this game could go either way.
You know what's absolutely wild, and I'll kick it to Pete. I was watching Pardon My Take, and they were talking about the NFC coaches. The oldest NFC coach right now is Matt LaFleur by a few days over Kyle Shanahan. I just find it wild. Like, we go from these days where it was like Marv Levy, who felt like he was like 1,000 years old back when I was a kid. You know, and now we
Pete
get
Carroll
to
in
this point.
2025.
Yeah. All right. Wait, here we go with the Raiders now. Here we go. Hey, just squeeze that in. All right. But yeah, no, I'm just saying it's wild to me that's the oldest coach in the NFC. But all right.
That is wild.
Let me just give you a couple of props real quick. I'm going to go Josh Jacobs. Anytime touchdown. His odds have been like up to like -175. That's kind of chalky again, but -130. He's healthy. He's a touchdown scoring machine. And then I'll throw in Jaden Reed. I know Kyler Gordon's coming back. I think he's coming back from injury. He might man him up in the slot a little bit. But 35.5, Reed's kind of seems to have big games in the playoffs. So nobody's going to be really thinking about him. It's kind of high for him too, but I mean, you know, it's a higher number, but I'll take that as well.
Sounds good. I will say before I kick it to Pete, my prop bet was over 18.5 rushing attempts for Josh Jacobs. I just feel like he's healthy now. He's healthy as he's been. He's going to get those carries. Pete's shaking his head, even though he told me he liked my parlay earlier.
That was gonna be my prop.
I like the Burden and I like the Burden and Loveland calls too, because I mean you could tell they're totally scheming it up for those two guys right now, especially Burden, you know, getting him after the catch, and then Loveland, you know, you saw it last week. They're starting to really scheme up, and they don't get DJ Moore the ball consistently. Dunze was kind of phased out, so it's probably going to be a lot of Burden and Loveland again. So those two guys are good guys to target.
Is DJ Moore gone next year?
I think so.
I think so. I don't know how it works with the contracts and stuff.
Team's gonna have to eat. Team's gonna have to eat a decent amount of cap.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it seems like he's gone. Seems like he's gone. They'll make something happen. But it's crazy. It's crazy what they gave up for him, and now they don't even utilize him really.
That trade is crazy now. Yeah, in retrospect,
it's pretty much a throw-in.
I was just gonna say he was a throw-in because look at everything else they got. Like, it's fine. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's their best receiver. I just don't know why they don't. It's just that they don't scheme him up properly. You know, they don't use him right. I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't think he's totally.
I don't think he's washed.
Totally. I don't think he's washed. I don't think he's totally happy either.
He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite. Go ahead, Pete.
I was just saying, credit where credit's due, though. I mean, a lot of people said the dude was a diva, and this is probably the worst season of his career, and the dude hasn't complained once. I mean, it's probably the worst year he's ever had, and everybody says
he's a very humble, you know, quiet guy. Listen to him.
That's what I think.
Very soft spoken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a playmaker. He can make. You just got to use him a certain way, I think. But I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't fit. Maybe he just doesn't fit Johnson's system. You know, he's bringing his own guys now. So
you got to get the ball in his hands with some space. He's a yak monster.
100%.
He's a complete wide receiver. He's pretty good at blocking. He's one of my favorite players.
He's been mine too.
I've been begging for the Patriots to go after him, but I'd like to see him land in New York too with the Giants alongside Malik Davis. I think that would be a nice landing spot.
So, Pete, as we round out the last game on Saturday, what says you? Can you talk me into Packers? Bring it home.
Well, so ironically, the Bears have been like one of my most owned teams in best ball. But the more and more that the game gets closer for me, I look at it like this. They've played twice this year. And in both of those games, the Packers have been the better team in both of them. I'm sorry. The game that they lost, they got an onside kick, which is extremely unlikely in the NFL. They got an onside kick, and Caleb had a heroic throw. It was an amazing throw. You can't take it away from him. But it took them to have to get all of that done just to win. The Packers have been the better team in both games. The game that they won, Josh Jacobs touched the ball 20 times, 86 yards, and a touchdown. The game that they lost, it was the game that Jacobs really didn't play much, right? And Jacobs only ended up getting 12 touches. They ended up shutting him down like mid-game. It was that weird game in the fantasy where everyone kind of was like, you got to start him, and he played, and then he left early. And if Vegas is projecting Josh Jacobs to have 19 touches, okay, this team goes how Josh Jacobs goes. And if they're telling me that Josh Jacobs is going to get a full workload, I think that's the X factor in this game, right? This offense moves how Josh Jacobs moves. And quite honestly, this Bears defense is not very good. If you look at, I get it, since Parsons has been gone, Green Bay has their defense has not been very good either, but I trust the defensive coordinator. I trust Jeff Hafley, right? He's a really, really good DC. And honestly, I think if you looked at the 4 units on both sides of the ball, the Bears have the worst unit out of all of them. Their defensive unit is the worst of every single unit on the field, in my opinion. The Bears defense, I know that they've been injured. Jalen Johnson missed a lot of time. You know, they just got back. I think Edmonds is back, or I know we talked about it yesterday, Joe. So I know that they're getting some guys back and healthy, but to me, Caleb didn't play that great. Even in the game, he played heroic. He was a no-show until the end of the game. He pulled pretty much a Bo Nix, right, where, you know, kind of lull you to sleep the entire game, lean on the defense, the game stays close, and Caleb ended up pulling out a rabbit out of his hat, right? But to me, I just look at this game and I think I you know, the Packers, they have the pedigree, they have the coach that's been there. And the Bears backed into this wild card, this 2 seed. I mean, they didn't look good against the Lions. They were trying to win that game, right? And so the Packers are an extra week rested, right? Familiar opponent. And I'm sure there's a sour taste in their mouth. Ben Johnson's comments about how he gets to play LaFleur twice a year, you know, I'm sure that sticks with them a little bit too. So I think I
forgot about that. That's a good one.
I actually forgot about that too. That's a great point.
And honestly,
not just a hat rack.
I feel like we are so enamored. Everyone's so jacked up about the Bears because we saw that exciting 49ers game, right? And everyone looked at how good the offense looked. And, you know, everyone's thinking like this could be. But if this game's a close game, that doesn't bode well for the Bears. The reason that the Bears have done anything on defense is because they're number 1 in the turnover differential. If that defense doesn't get turnovers, that defense is not going to get many stops, in my opinion. So they feed off that. They're number 1 in turnovers this year generated, and the Packers number 3 in turnovers allowed. So if the Packers can handle the football, if Jordan Love can play clean, he had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception in the win that they had last time, right? Obviously he gets hurt and we didn't get to see him, but if Josh Jacobs is healthy, an extra week of rest, you know, and he's playing and he's getting a full tote, and Jordan Love can play clean, I'm taking the Packers because, like I said, the eye test told me this is the better team in both of the games that they played. So that's my case on it.
You might have talked me about
and my prop is Christian Watson over 58 yards. You can take him at 60 and get plus money, but I like Christian Watson.
You do love yourself some Christian Watson. Well, I will say, Pete, Steve started the ball rolling. He said it, and then, you know, you drive it home. I'm officially now, I don't know what the hell I'm going to say with this game. But all right, let's get on to Sunday. We'll make this a little bit quicker because we're already at goddamn 40 minutes and we're only on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Bills at the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's going to be on CBS. Buffalo is favored by 1.5. The over-under is 51.5. I'll say this, and I feel like it's like I thought it would be like an outside the box pick, like whatever. But the more I've gone on Twitter and everywhere else, it's not trendy. Everyone else is doing it. I truly think the Jaguars win this game. I just think the offense is playing so hot right now. Like, for example, my prop bet here is Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 touchdown passes. I think it's one of the easiest bets on the weekend. Lawrence has had multiple touchdown passes in 6 out of his last 7 games. I will also say, if you want to bet a rushing touchdown, he is tied for second with Jackson Dart, right behind Josh Allen with 9 rushing touchdowns, I believe, or right up there. So, I mean, this offense is so hot right now for Jacksonville. I know everything is wide open for Buffalo. I know this should be the opportune time for them to, grab that brass ring, as Vince McMahon would say, and take it on home. But I'm feeling Jacksonville here. I'll go since Pete left the screen here. I'll go Ben. Then I'll go Chris, then I'll go Joe, then I'll go Steve. But all right, so that's me. I'm going Jaguars here. I won't be surprised if the Bills win. But Chris, I'll go you, Chris. Go ahead. What do you
got? Yeah, so I know you kind of touched on everyone being kind of in on the Jaguars. I get that. I think you could be right. The Jaguars have been playing very well. They're playing at home. The Bills have not been very good on the road. I think in the playoffs, especially, they're winless on the road in like however many years. So there's actually a lot stacked against the Bills and kind of leans into the favor of the Jaguars. We lost Hoff.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think the Jaguars have kind of become the common pick. I'm still going to take the Bills. I think this has to be Josh Allen's year, because I think if it's not, with the difference of quarterbacks in the playoffs this year that we touched on earlier, Allen has the opportunity to go get it this year. I think he has to go get it this year. So I think I'm just kind of leaning into that, and more of like a willing it to win kind of deal. I can understand why people are taking the Jaguars, though. I am sticking to my guns and I'm taking the Bills.
Joe?
I'm going to take the Bills on this one. Pete, you and I have talked about this already behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I just can't I can't say that Trevor. I don't believe Trevor Lawrence can beat Josh Allen in a playoff game. The Jags are hot. I get that, but I'll say that the Buffalo pass defense is while their defense does have holes, and they can be beat. Their pass defense is pretty good. Especially as of late, the last 4 weeks they've only given up three passing touchdowns. They're good against the quarterback. They're good against the wide receiver. You can run the ball on them like crazy. That's the Patriots formula in the first game where they beat them was basically pepper Stephon Diggs for first downs and run the ball. And every touchdown they got, I want to say, was a rushing touchdown. I think Drake May ended up with no passing touchdowns in that game. So that's how you beat the Bills. I don't think that the Jaguars can win a shootout. I think if the Jaguars win this game, they're going to let their defense has to come up big and make Josh Allen turn the ball over, and ETN's got to be big. I actually like ETN's longest rush prop. I think I don't know. I just thought of. I just happened to. Yeah, I just know that ETN.
What if it's 99.5 yards? Yeah.
No. ETN's got quite a bit of. I want to say he has at least four or five rushes, 20 or more yards rushes.
I could see it.
But the Jaguars' Achilles heel on defense is the tight end. They give up yards and touchdowns to the tight end position. Dalton Kincaid, when he's on the field, the Bills are 9-2 in those games. They average 30.2 points per game when he's active. He's going to be there. I know he's got a knee injury, but they've been limited in his practice reps. He played the last game of the year. So, I'm not worried about his injury. Dawson Knox is also there. And this is Josh Allen, like Chris said. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow. The Buffalo Bills ain't getting any better. So this is their time. This is their opportunity. All they got in front of them is this Jacksonville team, and then maybe a solid Denver defense. Maybe, I don't know. I can't. I'm not even confident in the Patriots beating them just because of the way that Vrabel got outcoached in the second half of last game. McDermott makes great second half defensive adjustments. So if Jacksonville is beaten up on Buffalo in the first half, all it takes is some coaching. If they can get that defense to stop Trevor Lawrence, to make Trevor Lawrence make a critical mistake, Josh Allen in the second half will take full advantage of that and close out this game. I don't see it. I don't see the Bills losing. So that's my take.
I think it was a few years ago. The Jags were getting smoked by the Chargers in the first half, came out in the second half and came back and won, right?
Yeah. Against Herbert. Yep.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see something similar kind of flipped on the Jags. I didn't even think about that. I didn't cover my props, so I wanted to circle back on that. I apologize.
Yeah.
I actually have Josh Allen at over 0.5 interceptions. He didn't throw in his last 4 games, so he's kind of been off the pattern, but he does have a tendency, because he's a gunslinger. He presses, he goes for it, right? So he loves to throw into double and triple coverage because he trusts his guys, and I love that. We get the big plays at him because of it, but you also see those kind of I don't want to call them boneheaded, but you get those random turnovers that you don't really expect, and they just pop up.
Sure.
And for 0.5, just assuming he's going to throw an interception on the road, I feel like that's a decent bet against a good defense. I also like the Dalton Kincaid receptions. I think it was over 3.5.
Yeah, 4+ was plus 119 a couple of days ago. It could have been, the line could have moved up at this point, but
yeah, I don't hate those. Steve, we'll go to you, Ben, and then Pete, and then we'll go on to the next game.
All right, quick prop. Josh Allen. I'll stick with the anytime touchdown theme since I've done 2 in a row already. Let's go 3 in a row with Allen, minus 115, anytime touchdown, and a 52 total. That seems like a gift. That seems like too good to be true. Maybe you shouldn't take it. But I don't know. That just seems like a no-brainer to me in a playoff game where he's got to make plays happen all day long. Maybe it's a little bit lower because of the foot injury, but it seems like he's past that. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I mean, Jacksonville's red hot. They're 9-1 their last 10 games. Freaking Liam Cohen, look at what he's done with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, we all kind of gave up on him. I kind of thought he was overrated coming in. He's struggled. He's been up and down. Then he's kind of been, falling down, regressing the last couple of years. And then even in the beginning of the year, he wasn't that good. Now, lately, they bring in Jacoby Myers. He's hitting the middle of the field, left and right. Him and Parker Washington are eating. They tried that with Ryan Thomas early in the year. He was skittish. He was banged up. Wasn't really working. Now they're kind of keeping him on the outside and using those other 2 guys. And you got Brenton Strange, who's legit. He's a good player. So, yeah, the Jaguars are their defensive coordinator. I've talked about this a couple times. Anthony Campanelli from Fairland, New Jersey. Shout out to him. He's done a hell of a job with the defense. They're good against the run. That matches up well against James Cook. So, yeah, I mean, the Jaguars definitely could win this game. Everybody's saying, Allen's got to do it this year. with all these guys out. I feel like the Bills will have other opportunities. I feel like they could still add better weapons. We know Brandon Beane, beginning of the year, he blacked out on their media, receivers this, receivers that, it's overrated, all that shit. And, now you're running out Brandon Cooks, you're bringing in McCole Hardman, you're bringing all these freaking random people, Elijah Moore, you look at your grasping for straws.
Island of misfit toys.
Exactly. Tyrell shave your balls, so but it's good that Kincaid's going to be back for this game. Jags aren't good against tight ends. I like those Kincaid props. The reception prop is good. The receiving prop is good as well. So I think Kincaid has to have a big game here. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go with McDermott and his experience and the Bills, taking advantage of this opportunity. Allen, being the leader he is and getting it done at the end of the game. Now it's kind of scary. I mean, there's a lot of things work. Their kicker Prater, he's going to come back, but you're going against freaking Cam Little, who's banging 67 yards. That's another advantage for the Jaguars.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, so they have a lot of advantage in this game, including they're on the home field. So, but yeah, I got to go with the Jags. I'm with Joe. I just can't pick Trevor Lawrence over Josh Allen in this spot. But you know what? Anything can happen. Maybe this is a huge freaking wake-up call to Brandon Beane. Maybe they lose. Maybe he gets canned. We'll see. But I think they'll get it done. I think ultimately they're a well-coached team. McDermott's had his flaws, but I think they could slow down this offense a little bit. And I think Allen and the offense can find ways. They've shown that all year they could find ways to move the ball one way or the other and get into the end zone. So I'll take the Bills here.
Ben, we'll go to you. I will just say, I think two head coaches that could be fired if they lose. I think LaFleur and I think McDermott would be bad ideas. But this coaching carousel shows you why the NFL offseason is king. Because we got playoff games going on, but we're all enamored with the coach carousel. But Ben, what do you say here about this matchup here in the NFC North in the wild card round?
I'll be quick about it. Let me just start by saying I love both of these teams. I've loved them all year. I'm like, some of my best friends are Bill.
I completely fucked that up, by the way, but go on. Did Ben freeze?
He did.
I think so, yeah.
He did freeze.
I was going to say, I want to add one more thing on. So the Jacksonville defense has been really, really good.
Wait, sorry, Ben's back, but Ben, give us 1 second. Joe, go to your point.
Jacksonville D has been very good at taking away the top pass catching option on opposing teams, and it's often been the secondary pass catching options having success against Jacksonville. So I think the fact that Buffalo spreads the ball around favors them. I think that's a plus for them because it could disrupt the defensive scheme, so to speak, for Jacksonville.
All right.
But go ahead, Ben.
And actually, to go off of that,
Ben, you're back with us.
That's part. Yeah. Hopefully, it sticks around. Sorry, I had a circuit breaker flip earlier, and it's just now my internet keeps going in and out. We'll see if I can make it through this. So, based on the spreading of the targets, is why I picked my Bills prop for this one. I took over 102.5 combo yards for James Cook. I think they're going to have to focus on him to be able to move the ball, to be able to keep themselves in the game. I really do think either of these teams could win. I love both these teams. I think that the winner of this one actually goes on to the Super Bowl eventually, which is it hurts my soul because that means I have to pick one to lose and I have to pick one to win. And I think I'm leaning Jacksonville because I've been on them since before the preseason. I was on with Steve earlier this year telling him, like, yeah, the Jags are my team. They're my division pick for the division. And, and I love Brenton Strange. And even though the Bills have had a really solid defense against tight ends, like one of the best against tight ends all year, I think that 35.5-yard reception prop on Underdog, taking the over on that, I think still is going to hit. He's actually beaten that. I think it was 3 of his last 4 or 5 games. I can't remember. Don't have it up on my screen right now. But, I'd take the Jags. I wouldn't put money on it if I had to. I might put money on the over. But other than that, it's the over on the Cook combo yards and the over on the Strange receiving yards.
All right. Pete, it's up to you now. You pick, and then we'll get to the next matchup. What says you, sweetheart?
I think the big two. There's two big injuries in the game.
Hairston.
Terrell Bernard is out, linebacker for the Bills, and I think that's a pretty big loss. So he's out, and you talk about how good Jacksonville's been at attacking the middle of the field. It's one thing that honestly Trevor Lawrence is leaning into and playing better because Liam Cohen is telling him to let it rip and push the ball and don't be afraid to push it in the middle of the field either. And they've been successful at it. You also factor in Matt Prater didn't participate in practice the last practice they had with a quad injury.
No, he's back. He's back. Yeah, okay. He had a full practice, so I think he's okay.
Okay. All right. So then this is I'm looking at NFL Pro and they must not have updated it because right now it just says questionable DNP.
But Bernard being out, that was up in the air. That's huge. You're right.
Yeah, Bernard being out's pretty big. I think that's a pretty significant injury, to be completely honest. He's a really big piece on that defense. I agree with Joe in that the Bills, one thing about their defense is they're really good at keeping things in front of them. So if Trevor Lawrence can't be patient, that could run him into some issues if he tries to press those tight windows and push it downfield, because that's one thing that the Bills secondary is really good at. So I have concerns with Lawrence in that regard. But I think the thing I continue to go back to with this team and this game is just that this is just not a good Bills team. I know their record is good, but they're playing a really bad division. They just like the Patriots. I don't think the Bills played that tough of a schedule this year either. And I think this is arguably the worst team that Allen's ever had. And so Jaguars being an even money team that's with is it 13 wins? Is it 14 wins for them? I mean, 13-4 record, and this team is even money at home in the playoffs. It's hard to go on the road in the playoffs, and we're talking about a team that has 13 wins, and they're not even getting the respect. I think the problem is I think a lot of people didn't watch Jacksonville games this year. Not saying the guys on this show, but in general, I just think a lot of people. And so I think a lot of people don't realize that this team is really good, and people are just thinking of the old Jaguars team, the old Trevor Lawrence, and they're not ready to accept that this is a real good team. And, I worry about the Bills' run defense. Travis Etienne's looked really good. This is a team in the Jaguars that like to run it with Tootin, who's now back, and Travis Etienne. So I have concerns. The only reason that you can sit here and say the Bills have a shot to win this game is because they have the best quarterback. They have Josh Allen. That's really it.
Not elite.
It's really hard for me because you guys know we talked.
Why do you always got to say that, Mike? You always got to throw
it. It's hard for me to say because we've had tons of arguments on this show about Allen, and I really would love to see him win it. Though my Broncos are actually pretty good this year, so if it's sacrificing him winning it for them winning it, I'll take that. But ultimately, the only thing that I feel like is that people are holding on to is it's Josh Allen and it's the Buffalo Bills and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like it just feels like we're hanging on to nostalgia and we're not really.
But a lot of people are picking the Jags in this.
I was just going to say that. I feel like the Jags are the popular pick.
Yeah,
which is crazy because they're even money, and if they were a popular pick and the public was picking them, then it would have shifted to the spread and the lines would have shifted by now.
It could also be people, touting hoorah, I'm picking the Jags, go Jags. But then when it actually comes to their money, they're not doing that.
Yeah, no, it's possible.
Could be the case.
So we'll see.
So we'll see.
By the way, Prater practiced yesterday. He didn't practice today.
Okay.
But McDermott said that's not unusual for kickers. So it sounds like he should be out there, but who the hell knows?
I hope so.
Maybe we're just badly out there.
If Prater doesn't play, that's sketchy, man.
The Bills always seem to have these key defensive injuries, so I don't know what they're.
Why kickers matter?
Maybe got to fire their trainer because they always have these key. Ed Oliver.
Remember last year the when they played the Chiefs and they lost their. Who was the corner? Was it Benford? Who was the guy that
sounds right?
Benford ended up going down.
How about the one year where they went against the Chiefs? They had like 3 linebackers out. They signed that guy off the street. He was like playing, he was like an insurance salesman. He started playing linebacker for the Bills. I forget what his name was.
I remember that.
Renfro.
Barry Horowitz. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. All right. So we'll see. What's that? What we got? Does anybody else want to say anything, or we move on, Chris?
Well, before we move on to the next game, I just wanted to ask another random question: is Brian Thomas a Jag next year?
Yeah.
Is he a Jag or is he a Jag? Is that which question?
Yes.
I think he's a good receiver. So I just don't think he fits with. I don't think he fits with Lawrence completely.
No,
I think he's talented. I think they trade him.
I think they trade him too. Actually, I mean they brought in Myers.
Niners.
They've got Parker Washington, who's looked really good. Brenton Strange is legit. Why don't you cash it? Like somebody will pay something decent for a guy like Brian.
But then
Thomas.
they wouldn't. Who would be their ex receiver? Tim Patrick.
Why not?
Why not? Why is more like it?
I mean, they could draft somebody.
They could absolutely draft somebody.
I mean, look, I get like Parker Washington, Jacoby, and Travis Hunter, but like it's redundant. Like the real question, the real thing is Travis Hunter is not going to play offense next year as much as people think.
No,
he's going to be predominantly on defense.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that as well. Yeah.
All right, are we ready to move on to the next game?
Yeah, let's keep moving.
All right, move on to the next game, and I'm going to go reverse order. We'll go Pete, we'll go around, and then Chris will end it. So we'll go Pete, Ben, Steve, Joe, then Chris. But yeah, it is the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Currently, the spread is Philadelphia -5.5. Over under is 44.5. This game will be on Fox with Tom Brady calling the game. I usually kick this around the room before I even say anything, but I'll just say, fuck it. I'll take the Niners. I'll take the Niners to win.
The Niners? What? Really?
Really?
Ben, Joe, you sons of bitches! I'll kick you both out of here right now. I'll say this. Honestly, though, all seriousness. The 49ers need to score at least 20 points to win this game. If they don't score 20 points, they do not win this game. It does not happen.
40, you said?
No,
20.
20.
I think 20 might be more than enough.
40.
No, they need to score 20 points. If they score 17 or less, their odds are very slim. If you look at their schedule this year, I will say this in terms of a prop bet. I'll take Brock Purdy over 18.5 rushing yards. The Eagles are one of two teams to allow 400 or more rushing yards to the quarterback position. So I think this is a good spot for Brock Purdy too. Because here's the thing. That front seven is ferocious. The pass rush is crazy. And I think that's going to allow for Purdy to get out of the pocket enough to rush to get over 18.5 rushing yards. Now,
I was really close to taking that prop.
I like that.
Yeah. So, so I think Brock Purdy hits that. Here's the deal. Here's what I noticed, and I gotta be God's honest. I could watch film all day, but sometimes there's things that I can't explain. For whatever reason, it is so much easier to hit the right side of the Eagles defense in terms of getting some kind of offensive progression here. So I think that ought to be the Niners' plan of attack the right side of the field. And honestly, and this is the coin flip for the Niners, you have to hope the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, who, by the way, I don't care what they do this year, that guy's gone. That guy stinks. He's probably going to be fired. We need him to lay an egg in this game. If you're a 49er fan, you have to hope the offensive coordinator lays a goddamn egg. And also just the offense it's not really trustworthy. I don't trust Jalen Hurts in this matchup. I trust if they decide to utilize Saquon Barkley. I mean, Niners had 18 missed tackles last week against the Seahawks. If you run Saquon Barkley like you're supposed to, then that means the Eagles win. For sure. So, but for now, I don't think they will. I don't think the Eagles offensive coordinator is that smart. So I'll take the Niners to win a very close matchup. Shock the world or shock Philadelphia. So yeah, I'm going with it. I don't care. Pete, go ahead, pick the Eagles, and then leave the chat. What says you?
This is actually the toughest game for me to judge because
Really,
I mean, with the Eagles, look, you got a team that historically has done it and shown up, and the Eagles, the 49ers have been the team that's come up short. I mean, it's a tale of two different teams completely here over the last 5-6 years. It's like two teams that have similar paths and go the completely opposite way when it matters the most. I think the 6-point spread is insane to me. That would be my best bet. It might be my best bet of the week is +6 on the 49ers. I don't get me wrong. Like I'm totally here to listen to anybody that wants to take the Eagles on the money and take them to win. But 6 points is pretty crazy for a team that struggles to put up points. I know the defense of 49ers is bad. Look, this is where Robert Saleh makes his money, man. This guy wants to be a head coach next year, possibly. He was in talks about him being, I get this defense sucks and it's not very talented, but Robert Saleh's going to have to come up big, man. He's going to have to earn his money here. I'm taking San Fran to win this game.
Indiana. My bad.
Oh, really? I took them to win. But yeah, I'm taking the 49ers to win this game, man.
Peter.
I just think that I get San Fran's defense is really bad, but we've seen the Eagles offense play against really bad defenses and they still didn't blow up. The only game we can really think of is the Raiders, and the Raiders had a historically bad game. They didn't even have 100 yards on offense. It was so lopsided that it helped, of course, the Eagles offensively because they had the ball for like 40, 50 minutes that game. The Eagles, even against bad defenses, did not blow up offensively like people thought. I think that's why the spread is so big, because people aren't giving the 49ers defense any credit, and I get it, but I'm not giving the Eagles offense that much credit either. I'll take San Fran. I think the way they win this game is really just the offense pushing points and forcing the Eagles to have to play with them and keep up. And I don't see this Eagles team doing it. And this coming from the guy that sat there with everybody on the panel last year and said the Eagles were going to beat the 49ers last year. I gave Jalen Hurts a lot of credit. I don't think it's all his fault this year, and I don't think this is a team that's just going to flip the switch on in this game. So,
Ben, what says you, sir?
Right. I'm not trying to pander or anything, but I actually am picking the Niners to win as well.
Wow.
It was a tough one for me, and I don't like picking the Eagles just on principle, but I was going back and forth a little bit on it, and I was even trying to find like a Barkley prop that I liked or a Hurts prop that I like, and I just really couldn't find one. But yeah, that's like six. What was it? 6 point spread.
6 points.
I wish I could bet on that. All I got 3.5 on underdog. So like whatever, but I have 6. I would smash that.
Yeah.
Got to go offshore, Ben.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like go a little north to Canada. Hey, don't you know?
A little Bovada.com. There you
go. Prop wise, I got. There's not a whole lot more I can say. First of all, after all the numbers that Pete threw out there, and Mike as well. So I'm just going to jump right into my prop. I took the easy Jennings anytime touchdown. I feel like he scored 5 times in the last 5 games, and 5 of them were in 4 of them. And the inconsistency of the offense for the Eagles makes anything possible for either side of the ball. I also took Bigsby over 2.5 rushing attempts because I loved my tank Bigsby, and I figured 2.5. If you hand him the ball 3 times, just why not?
This is shit. Steve, what says you?
Steve, leave me some talking points, brother.
Yeah, the Eagles have. Yeah, they look like shit. They knocked me out of Survivor. It was a $40,000 pot. If they would have won that Monday night game, I would have been one of 3 people left. I took them 3 weeks in a row, and I lost every single week. I had multiple picks, and
they fucked me over in Survivor 2 years ago when they lost the Cardinals in like week 16.
That's the worst part about Survivor. You get to the end, you don't get anything. That's the worst. But
in a game like that,
They haven't played well. Even in the Buffalo game, I mean, the second half, the way Petulo was calling those plays was just hideous. It was like run, pass, run, pass. It was just like they were just looking to get the hell out of there, and rely on their defense. But I really don't trust the San Francisco defense. I mean, I'm going with that narrative. I mean, 38 to the Bears, 27 to the Colts, and Phillip Rivers, 24 to freaking Cam Ward. I just see too many holes, and I think the Eagles have too many good weapons to not exploit this somehow with Devonta Smith and AJ and Saquon and Hurts to get it going with Goddard. So, and their defense too. I mean, we just saw what Purdy did against Seattle in a huge game. He came up short.
Whoa! They did sign Eric Kendrick, Steve, to the active roster.
His speed's like a 68.
Listen, leave our linebackers alone.
In Minnesota, he can do something.
Yeah, Eric Kendrick.
Hey, I used to like Eric Kendricks, man, but I don't know if he's good.
But
you guys, are jerks.
I want to see. So I was talking about this the other night on my channel. Purdy kind of gives me the Chad Pennington vibes in big games against good defenses. He kind of gets slowed down a little bit. So I need to see him kind of do it. And I think the Eagles defense can slow him enough. I mean, Fangio, the last 4 games against Shanahan's held him. I think they're averaging like 10 points a game.
Yeah.
So it's just, I just think that the Eagles are going to win this game. I'd love to root for the Niners. The 6 points kind of makes sense to me. You got the home field, 2 or 3. You got the offensive line, you got the defense. So the 6 points, I think, is kind of on the money. So yeah, I'm taking Eagles to win. I think the I think actually this is one of the clearest games for me to pick. But I mean, you never know what the freaking NFL.
Steve.
Right?
Joe must agree with you. You guys must have talked about this game.
Yeah,
already.
you guys must have talked about this because God,
we really haven't.
No, we did a show the other night. So
yeah. I'm gonna take Devonta Smith over 55.5 receiving yards. Kind of take the I know AJ can probably do it too.
I don't hate that.
I think this is a good matchup for him, and also I could see Hurts getting a rushing touchdown. So I'll do another anytime plus 110.
Joe, sweetheart.
All right, I apologize.
Show or what? What do you want to do?
I apologize now, Hoff.
I'm fucking with you. Go ahead.
No,
what do you got?
So the Philadelphia defense is the reason why I think San Fran doesn't have a chance in this one. I also happen to think that there's something wrong with CMC. He just doesn't look. He hasn't looked right the last couple of weeks, and if he's not 100%, then that's going to be a problem for San Fran's offense. Philly D peaking. They're really peaking going into the playoffs. They just held Josh Allen and the Bills to 13 points. Since week 10, they're number 1 in the NFL with giving up only 14.5 points per game. And Steve touched on it already with Brock Purdy going against elite tough defenses. He kind of folds like a cheap suit, I guess we can say.
Whoa! The fuck was that, man? We had to do that. Jeez.
No, well, it ties in with my prop. My prop, and it's because I love the odds.
What, your props got to do with a cheap suit?
No, my props got to do with Brock Purdy throwing 2+ interceptions.
What?
Man, we're just shitting all over the.
Wow, Joe, what the fuck?
I think
Anthony would be loving this one though.
Anthony would be picking shit right now.
2+ interceptions. It was at plus 249 on Monday. Right now,
Anthony would be like, Joe, you come back anytime, bro.
It's plus 319 right now. I just looked to see if that moved. I love those. He's had 3 games this year where he's thrown at least 2, one where he had 3. And I think the Eagles cover the 6 points too. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like 27 to 12, 27 to 13.
No trust in Kyle Shanahan.
Golly. No.
Trust in Kyle.
It's fine. Don't let me playing it.
Saquon Barkley is finally going to be unleashed. The Eagles are going to control the time of possession through the running game.
I will say before I go to Chris, if the offensive coordinator for the Eagles wakes up and realizes, oh, wait a minute, I'm an NFL offensive coordinator with Saquon Barkley on my team. If he wakes up and realizes that, then yes, there will be a problem. But I think he's that fucking dumb that I think he'll just live in the clouds and barely target AJ Brown and put Saquon in bad situations. And yeah, so we'll see. But Chris, if you want to be back here, what's your call? What do you got?
Well, so I'm actually taking the Niners.
Hey,
to cover the spread. I'm taking the Eagles to win.
Wait, no.
Well played.
All right, no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So
go on.
The biggest thing for me comes down to I think Lane Johnson is back. Correct.
He is. Yeah.
I believe Jalen Carter is back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Trent Williams, I mean, he's still banged up. Last I saw, he's questionable, but highly questionable.
He's going to play. Trent Williams is going to play.
Yeah. But just
Pearsall's the one, it's like no one knows.
And that was the next name I was going to bring up, too, is we don't know about Pearsall. So I feel like
he's questionable as of now, but I think that's more smoke and mirrors. But
yeah, so with a game like this, I'm kind of just looking at the lines. The defensive line of the Eagles versus a bit of a banged up offensive line for the Niners. And I don't trust the Eagles offense. I really want to take the 49ers because I don't trust the Eagles offense. But like you said, if the offensive coordinator gets any sort of inkling to use Saquon a little more, I think it breaks the game open. That being said, I still believe in Christian McCaffrey to cover. I'm taking him at over 115 total yards. So rushing and receiving.
I don't hate that. All right. So that's it for that. All right. So, all right, let's go on to, so we got two more games here. We'll go to Sunday Night Football, going to be the LA Chargers going up against the New England Patriots. I almost said San Diego, but the game will be at New England. It'll be Sunday at 8 p.m. on Peacock. New England's favored by 3.5. The over-under is 45.5. I will say this before I kick it around the room. This was my easiest game to pick. I think the Patriots win this going away. I think they win by 10 points. I will say, though, it's funny I say that because my prop bet here, which I've included in a prop bet, I have a prop bet for each game, and one of them is Drake made a throw an interception. It's at plus 109 right now. 5 of his 8 interceptions have come at home. The Chargers are third in the NFL with 19 interceptions, and the only team in the NFL to have more interceptions than touchdown passes allowed. So I do think that Drake May gets picked off, but ultimately I think that the Patriots win this game. I will say I think this is an over spot too. It's like watching an orgy and trying to focus on just one situation. Well, William Stevenson, you need to get yourself some help, my God.
I was just gonna say, damn.
Stick to the Playboy magazine.
Stick to the play. All right. So you know what? In this case, all right. So I'm going Patriots here. I'm gonna go to Pete first in this one because I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, I think Pete and I disagreed on this game. I'm going to go to him first, and then I'll go to Joe next, and I'll figure it out from there. Because, Pete, if I'm not mistaken, did we not disagree on this game?
We went back and forth. I settled on the Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the under is a good play in this one, 45.5. I think this game is going to be close. My biggest concern for the Patriots is this is a really good defense in the Chargers. Jesse Minter is doing a really, really good job. I mean, you could argue that the Chargers have a top 5 defense in the NFL. One thing about the Patriots, their defense has really started to slide, but a lot of it has to do with injuries. Robert Spillane's missed time down the stretch, Milton Williams, and I think Milton Williams is back. Joe can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think he's back. Which is huge for them because that run defense, man, I mean, It was questionable for a pretty long time, and so if Milton Williams wasn't back, I worried about the Patriots defense in this one because I thought they'd run it down their throat a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to say. I think the Chargers can make this really close and competitive. I don't think this is a blowout. I think the spread at 3.5 is pretty fair. I think the under for me is probably the best bet in terms of props. I haven't looked at too much. I do like Quentin Johnson a lot in this game for some reason. I bet him a lot. He's played better the last few weeks, and I feel like he might have a big game in this one. So I'll probably look to probably take his longest reception or his yards. I don't have a ton to say on this one though. I think Patriots win. It's not even biased. I think this is a good Chargers team. I don't love the idea of Herbert playing outdoors, going on the road to New England. He didn't look good last time he was there. And yeah, I think Patriots are getting healthy at the right time.
Joe, I'll let you go next. Then we'll go Steve, Ben, and then Chris, and then we'll get to the last game. But go ahead, Joe. You're the Patriots guy. You got it all in the background.
Yes. So I'm pretty initially when I looked at the matchup and started studying the numbers and stuff, I started getting a little scared about the because the Chargers have their top 5 pass defense, and they also get after the quarterback. So I think the key to the Patriots winning this game is going to come through both running backs. Stevenson and Henderson going to have to be involved. Drake May's got to take care of the football. Hoff, I kind of like your call. He's definitely could throw a pick.
Yeah, I think the Patriots still win, but I think it throws a pick.
Yeah. No, I like the under. Pete makes a great call on the under. They played these two teams played in 2023, and it was one of the worst Patriots teams we've ever had.
You poor thing.
Since the early 90s.
The heartache you've gone through. But go on.
But the Chargers didn't score any touchdowns. They were 5 for 15 on third down conversions. They punted the ball 8 different times. Justin Herbert struggled in the cold. I believe it's supposed to be 34 degrees, clear weather. I believe it's 10 mile an hour winds. That's what at least that's what the news.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's correct.
You can't trust the news, Joe. You can't trust the news.
No way, man. The
He's
news,
putting on his tinfoil hat with the weather. We're going.
The news I watch.
Sam Champion. That's
the weather. The weather is the only thing you can trust on the news. but anyways,
I love you, Steve. That's great.
I think it's going to be an ugly game all around. It's going to be ugly, low scoring. The Patriots do just enough to win. My prop bet is Drake May 30+ rushing yards. The reason why I like this is because
I didn't like that. Go ahead, talk to me. I looked at that. I'm saying because I looked at that and I didn't love it. But go ahead, tell me.
He thinks it's a shit bet, Joe.
No, the fact that the Chargers have a great pass defense, and they can get after the quarterback, it's going to lead to Drake May being pushed out of the pocket. I think he's going to have to take off quite a bit in this game. He's also had like 25 plus rushing. I think he's had 25 rushing attempts in the last 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. He's run a lot more down the stretch, and every mobile quarterback the Chargers have faced has gone over 30 yards. Bo Nix went over 30 yards twice. Jaden Daniels went over 30 yards. Patrick Mahomes had 57 yards. Jackson Dart had 54 yards. This is a team that they get coverage sacks. So, in order to avoid a coverage sack, Drake May is going to have to scramble. So that's how I'm kind of looking at that. And it's actually plus money too, 30 rushing yards. I think
that makes a lot of sense.
I think he hits that. But they got to go through the running backs. If they don't stay committed to running the football, it's going to open up the door for the Chargers.
All right. So where are we at here? Chris, you're last up, or Ben, did you speak yet? You spoke earlier, right?
Not for this game, no.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Chris, and then we'll go to Ben, then we'll round it out. Then we'll get to the last game.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to start with my prop bets because it kind of goes to what Joe was just talking about with the Patriots have to use the running backs. I have Ramondre at over 37.5 rushing yards.
Love that.
I agree. They're going to have to go with the running backs to win the game. I do have New England winning the game as well. I feel like we've seen Herbert kind of fall apart in the playoffs enough times that I need to see it before I believe it. You have a West Coast team traveling east in the cold. It's not going to be horrible weather, but coming from LA, it's cold enough while also traveling east. I think Drake May is good enough to overcome the challenge of a good pass defense. And I think the running backs are good enough to take advantage of a run funnel defense. So I'm taking the Patriots. The other line I do like because I have the Patriots, I like the Chargers possibly playing from behind at some point or whatever, is Omarion Hampton at over 2.5 receptions.
Hampton, is he going to play? I know he was hasn't been practicing.
So that's if he plays, right? Yeah, he's questionable with the injury. Obviously, if
he's
doesn't
going
play, you
to
don't
play.
make the bet. But I think he plays. It's a playoff game.
He's going to play. He came out today.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good call, Chris. I like that. I like those bets. Ben, what do you got in this before we get to the last game?
I got to go too. I'll go quick though. I'll go quick.
I did also almost take that made rushing prop too. But I decided to go with, and it kind of correlates. I took Diggs under 4.5 receptions because I think they're going to need to run the ball, and I think he's going to be under duress, just like everybody else pretty much said.
Dude, Ben, slow down, man. Slow down.
You're getting choked up.
I'm choked up because I wanted to pick Drake May and I didn't. Love Drake May, but I did pick the Patriots as well. And I do also think the under is the way to go betting wise on this game. If I had to choose between the spread, the over under, and the money line, it would be the under on the over under on the 45.5. On the other side of the ball, for my prop for the Chargers, I'm actually taking Kamani Vidal's rushing prop of over 24.5 rushing yards, which I mean against the teams this season, against teams on the East Coast, so East Coast states. He's averaging over 4.5 yards per carry. So really he only needs 5 carries and he's well over that prop. I think I did that math right. 6 carries and he's over that prop. So that would be my Chargers one. And I think also the fact that we don't know how effective Hampton's going to be with that injury coming in, or if he's even going to suit up or play. So I think, yeah, these really low 25.5 is an absolute gold mine.
All right. There we go. Steve, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers plus 3.5. I think they can win this game too. Harbaugh, I know the Chargers usually charge in the playoffs, but you'd have to think Harbaugh maybe wants to stand up for his brother a little bit here, rep a little bit, get the W. New England's got a great team. They've played a soft schedule, but they've dominated in most of their matchups. And Drake May has been outstanding for sure. Their defense, they brought in a lot of good weapons. But, yeah, that's going to be my best bet is Chargers plus 3.5. I also could see a prop with Ladd McConkey over 40.5. I could see him stepping up, get away from Christian Gonzalez, kind of working to the middle of the field.
I almost took the over on Ladd receptions. I like that bet. I like the yardage.
All right. If nobody else has anything else to say on that game, we'll get to the last game, which is on Monday Night Football. Again, these are all on different streaming services and networks to make sure that you are spending as much money as possible to watch all the playoff action. But it is the Houston Texans game. No, that was
Patriots are on Peacock.
I know this is Monday night. I'm just playing around. Patriots are on Peacock? No. Oh, well, that's NBC, but it's not exclusively on Peacock.
You know what? You're talking out of turn. Stevenson said, Ben, can I call you Rabbit Daddy? Think about it before you answer. What I really want to tell you, and I mean this, is at a compliment, you look like what? Lemmy from Motorhead. That is a compliment. That is nice.
I would take that as a compliment, honestly.
Are you the Ace of Spades?
Oh, Ace of Spades is an amazing song.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment. I mean, I'm a bit younger and probably not quite as cool, but I will take that as a compliment, and I will have to get back to you on the Rabbit Daddy thing. I'll have to ask my wife first because that'd be her choice.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
She probably calls you Rabbit Daddy sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe she
yeah.
does. Maybe she does.
You keep the ears on. You definitely keep the ears on, right?
What knows what happens with those ears in the bedroom?
You keep the ears on and stick out your tongue, right?
What those ears of steam?
There's
What those
only
ears
one
of
she
steam?
knows, and she's not telling.
To William Stevenson, being an Eagles fan, I will politely tell him to fuck all the way off for this weekend. Chargers are 5-0 in primetime games this season. All right, something to note. All right, let's get to the last game here. Monday Night Football. What?
Everyone, we're all taking Texans. This is easy. Nothing
Here
much.
we go.
Well, I actually.
Pete. Oh wait! All right,
No,
all right.
no,
Chris,
I
calm
wanted to
down,
start
calm
off with-
down.
I mean, Steve and Chris might be the only
Here we
ones
go,
because I know
now.
Steve doesn't like Rodgers after he
Talking
left.
out of
his-
fucking
yeah,
turn.
right.
All right, I can never. All right, just
All right,
No,
sorry.
that has nothing to do with that.
Peter, calm down, calm down. Let me just announce the game.
It's gonna be a fucking bloodbath.
Here we go with this shit now. All right, we'll wait. Coach is patient. You done yet? You done?
Come on, dude, get this thing going.
Well, shut the fuck up then. Anyway, all right, Texans at the Steelers. It's gonna be Monday, ESPN. And this is going to be Texans favored by 3. I will go ahead and I will kick this over to tell me.
Let me go first.
All right, Steve, you go ahead. You go first.
I gotta get the heck out of here too myself. I gotta take the kids to their somewhere. So yeah, the Texas defense is amazing. I mean, the freaking corner
anywhere.
That's a little creepy. That's creepy, Steve.
I'm
It's 8 o'clock at night. Where are they going?
I'm taking him to my boy's house. He's got a kid their age, so we're gonna watch the game over there.
All right. All right.
But yeah, the Texas defense, Lassiter, Stingley, Bullock, the safety, their D line, their D tackles. I mean, they're the best defense in the league. Now Rodgers with the Kenny Gainwell offense, it doesn't make any sense. I think Darnell Washington's a big loss in this game. I think he could have really helped them, but something about Pittsburgh on Monday night. And I know they lost their last, 4 wild card games. Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 2017, but there's something about Pittsburgh on Monday night. And I want, I could see the Texans going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I really could. Their defense is that good. But I'll throw, I got to make a little bit of a contrarian pick here and make something, a little bit different. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh with the points here, at least +3. And I got to go Kenny Gainwell. I mean, he's the freaking, take his receiving over prop too. So it's the Kenny Gainwell show for the last month, pretty much.
All right. Who wants to chime in next?
Oh, I'll go if I may.
You may.
So, Amy, if you're watching, please turn this next part off. I am picking the Steelers. And it's because the Texans.
I like how you jumped this off by saying that everybody was going to pick the Texans, and so far.
That's what I was hoping. I thought we were all going to be in unison, man.
Man.
So, yeah, I mean, the Texans defense is amazing. It absolutely is. But at the same time, their offense, aside, not including Nico Collins, is unpredictable and not exciting. I mean, the only prop that I found that I really liked, and granted, I like to do those niche props with you. I took Nick Chubb over 1.5 first quarter rushing yards because I figured, why not? It's 2 yards. It's all he needs. He can do that on 1 carry, even though he's working on like 1 3/4 legs. But I feel like the under on this, I've got it at 39.5 on Underdog, and that feels like a pretty safe bet. I love the Texans, and I feel like if they win this game, they could absolutely threaten to get to the Super Bowl. But it's like the way the Steelers have kind of pulled it together, and and going the last couple of games with basically their best wide receiver is 62-year-old Adam Thielen.
Hey, whoa!
I love
You're a
Adam
Vikings
Thielen.
guy.
DK Metcalf.
Metcalf.
I love Adam Thielen, but I mean,
Jesus, watch your mouth.
I
Anthony
know
would love this, so.
it's why I told her to turn off the stream if she's watching. She hasn't come back in and thrown anything at me yet, so I think she did.
It's gonna happen.
You can't badmouth Adam Thielen, dude.
I know it hurts my soul, and I'm probably going to hell for it. But
yeah, you are.
I was already on my way there anyway.
I'll see you there.
And so I'm taking the over on the Thielen receptions, which was 1.5 on Underdog. I feel like that's really safe bet. Because
it's a backhand comment.
I just the offense for the Texans scares me too much. And unless they can just hyper target Nico Collins and make that work, I don't know if they could put enough offense up to keep ahead, to even get the lead. Regardless of what their defense does, because I don't think their defense is going to shut out the Steelers. But yeah, I have to take the Steelers in the under. And that's, it hurts.
All right.
My heart.
Who's got it next? Who wants to pick the Steelers next? I'll say this before we run it out. Does anybody want to pick the Steelers? Anybody?
Oh wait! After Ben's analysis, I kind of want to take the Texans now because I do think the Texans can move the ball, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh Monday night, the mystique. But I think they win on turnovers. Same. I think they got to get turnovers.
Chris,
to win this game.
We'll close out with Joe, but go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm done. I'm going to take off, fellas. Though this was great. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the games. Yeah, Peter. Enjoy the games.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah. Shout out. Let's have a good play.
We'll do next week.
Let's hit those best balls.
Yeah, hey man, we'll do it again next round.
All right, peace, fellas. Have a good night. Enjoy the game.
All right, later.
All right, Steve.
Chris, we'll go to you, and then we'll close that with Joe.
Yeah, so I'm actually taking the Steelers as well. It's like we've mentioned, had a couple people mention Steelers on Monday night. I'm just gonna see if Aaron Rodgers can pull a playoff game out of his ass and pull it off. I think Tomlin's not ready to meet Harbaugh in Valhalla, and I feel if the Steelers lose this game, they could move on from Tomlin. I don't. As great as the Texans' defense is, I don't trust the Texans' offense, which is kind of what we were saying as well. And the Steelers have a good defense as well. So the Texans' defense, but it's not a pushover either. And they're at home. The Steelers always play well at home.
All right. Man, I'm surprised, actually. I thought this would be pretty easy.
Joe, come on, man.
It was kind of funny, Pete, because you interrupted me when I was like getting ready
into these guys, man.
Please. Put more misery and pick the Steelers.
So I actually before I see the score, one more thing. This is going to be going back to last offseason. Pete is like Aaron Rodgers' biggest fan, and he's picking against it.
So am I.
This is the problem. And Hoff can talk about this.
You're not Aaron Rodgers' biggest fan.
Anthony, and Hoff love it. Steve. All three of them were. I love Aaron Rodgers too, but I just think that people just found reasons to not like him outside of him on the field. Like, so I just.
Oh, he doesn't like the vaccine. That was my biggest thing. He's a nice guy. His girlfriend thinks he's mean. Like, whatever, dude.
I will say this. I absolutely hated young Aaron Rodgers. I love old man Rodgers.
Yes, I agree.
However long it takes to get here, we're happy that you're here.
Joe, please.
There's going to be two streaks that end on Monday night.
Joseph.
One is
Joseph.
Don't that 1991 Steelers undefeated on Monday night streak, and the other is the Houston 0-5 on road playoff games. Both of those streaks are going to end. Houston was 1-3 at one point this year, and they basically they almost ran the table from there on out, made the playoffs. The last team to do that was the Houston Texans, I believe, in 2018. Same thing, started 1-3, made the playoffs. Their defense is physical, strong, probably the best defense in the league. It's the reason why they're Super Bowl contenders. CJ Stroud has been better as the season has gone And as far as the offense, it's not exciting, but you guys didn't mention somebody who's going to dominate this game against the Steelers.
I didn't know. Dalton Schultz, right?
And that's Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Steelers have been bleeding points to the tight end all year. Dalton Schultz has been the security blanket for CJ Stroud. He's been the chain mover. I could see him going over 6 receptions, getting as many as 8 or 9 receptions in this game. I'm big on him in the playoff contest too, because I think that Buffalo beats Jacksonville and Houston's going to end up playing the Patriots, and that's another great matchup for Schultz. So there's a little tidbit for your Dalton Schultz playoff best ball shares. And, the offense is better than Pittsburgh's offense. The defense isn't even a question.
Joe, I only have one question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
Which I'm not excuse me, I'm not killing your prediction at all, but you talked about the potential receptions for Dalton Schultz. One of my props here is over 4.5 receptions for Nico Collins. He hasn't had 5 receptions or more in his last 4 games, but he does get 20% of the Texans' receptions. So I'm just wondering if you're in a world with me where you think that Nico Collins can get over 4.5, but then Dalton Schultz is getting what you said, upwards of what? I'm sorry, what'd you say, 9?
If Nico gets over 4.5, Dalton Schultz is closer to 5 or 6. I'm not saying I'm not guaranteeing 8 or 9 out of Schultz, but that's
all right.
He can get 8 or 9.
Point being is that you see a world in which both guys can hit over on receptions.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. All right.
They're gonna and I know this is a galaxy brain thought, but I kind of like Jalen Nolan, the special teams against Pittsburgh. I think this could be a possible big play. The prop I used on Monday night. Now, I didn't mention Dalton Schultz on the Monday night show, but the prop I used on Monday night was both quarterbacks to throw an interception. I do think that's going to happen. Could easily happen.
Right.
That line shifted big time, though. It was plus 296 on Monday. Now it's I looked earlier. I think it was plus 119 or something.
Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
I just think that the Steelers, just like the Bills, are a nostalgia pick. I don't think there's anything outside of just the vibe of going into the Steelers' house on a Monday night with Tomlin out there. You got Aaron Rodgers, the wily veteran. Like Joe said, like the Steelers' offense is piss. It's terrible. I mean, it's awful. And the one thing that we've seen Rodgers play well, like somewhat, like it's usually like bad game, good game, bad game, good game. He's only played well when he's been kept clean. There's nothing that tells me that this Texans defense is not going to get in his face. And if that's the case, I don't see him being that successful. I love Rodgers. They're going to probably have a game plan to get it out quick against this defense. But like the only reason he was successful is the Ravens had like 0 pass rush, dude. They had I mean, they didn't get to him at all. So
Kenny Gainwell, 15 targets.
That's what I'm saying, though. But the reason is because they just dumped the ball off.
Yeah.
That they're trying to get the ball out quick, and the Texans, they rally to the football really well. You're not going to get a lot of yards after catch from Kenneth Gainwell, in my opinion, out of the backfield either. Those guys rally, man. Like
if they overuse Kenny Gainwell, he's going to get his head taken off in this game.
Yeah.
Houston is coming for his head.
They'll see it coming. After
Jalen Petrey has been playing like a lot of slot in the box, man. Like I watched a lot of film on him a couple weeks ago, and like that dude he's not gonna let much get past him out of the flat. So I just this is the game I feel the most confident in that there's going to be a win. I actually honestly think the Texans have a real shot because the only narrative that is opposite is of what I really believe is that San Fran will win because their defense sucks. But I do think defense is how you get to the Super Bowl, and the Texans defense is phenomenal, and that offensive line's played a lot better, man. I mean, honestly, so. We'll see. That the 49ers pick has been a little skittish. I do think they cover, but it's so hard, man. When you don't have a good defense, it's so hard to imagine.
All right. And now's a good time to end the show. What do you got?
So, Pete, I got a question. How many points do the Texans score in the win?
I think the Texans. I think they probably put up like 24. This Steelers secondary is terrible, dude. They're terrible. The Steelers now their front is much better. Hey, Cam Hayward's playing awesome this year. Watt's back and healthy. Herzig is good. Like they got some guys up front, but the secondary is terrible. CJ Stroud might actually have a pretty decent game.
I think if the Texans scored 24 points, there's no way the Steelers win that game.
No,
I don't think the Steelers can put up 24 against the Texans.
I don't see a path for the Steelers to score more than 17. I just don't. I really don't see it.
23 to 13.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, not Steelers.
I know.
All right. So, any other comments before we ride off into the sunset? Anybody? Anything they didn't get off the chest?
I got one more question. I guess for Joe.
Sorry.
I'll go. Joe, then Chris, and then we'll see who's got something left.
I was going to say, speaking of chest, Mike Tomlin going like this after the missed field goal is going to be karma kicking him straight in the balls.
This guy, Tomlin had the nerve on the Rich Eisen show to claim that he does not know that there's any narratives out there. He's like, I don't pay attention. The bullshit, dude. Come on.
You remember when he stepped out on the field against the Patriots on the sidelines and he tried to bump the guy?
when he tried to trip him. I thought that was Jacoby. I thought that was Jacoby Jones. I thought it was Jacoby Jones.
It was Jacoby Jones for the Ravens. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I think that was in a playoff game, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it was. Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Tomlin's good, man. I think he's just run his course in Pittsburgh, but
that goes back to what I was saying. I think if the Steelers lose, they get rid of him.
I think he bought him. He's got one more year on his deal. I think the fact that they made the playoffs, unless it's an absolute throttling, I think he skeeves his way to one more, and then they do like a mutual parting of ways.
New York
you're sitting up there on your throne up there, first round bye. Who are you most or least interested in seeing the Broncos play?
I'd love to play Pittsburgh.
Why you gotta make it about?
I'd love to play Pittsburgh, man. I'd love to. For me, it'd be Pittsburgh. It'd be fun to see Tomlin versus Peyton, but that's the team I would want. I hope that's who they would play. I would love to see the Texans get knocked out because that's a team I don't want to see again.
And Joe, what's it feel like to be a Patriots fan in the playoffs without the 1 seed?
I will. It makes me as a fan.
You get to watch an extra game.
I'm gonna root for them without expectation.
Fair.
How's that? I have no expectations for them. Going into this year, I knew they would be much improved. I predicted 10, maybe 11 wins. They outkicked that. I always thought that they were still building towards their goal, which is not this year. I didn't think it was going to be this year. The next couple of years, though, you guys might be in trouble going forward. But
that's how I feel about Denver. This is actually it's probably the best they've been in years, and it's probably the least. I actually haven't enjoyed that this season that much. Crazy.
Come up for air, boys.
But sorry.
I think next season will tell you a lot about the Patriots because they're going from a 4th place to a 1st place schedule.
Yes, I was thinking that same thing too. Is you're going from the 4th place schedule to the 1st place?
And I'm not.
No, but that's the same. Fourth and 1st place are the same, though. No, that's the same.
I'm not trying to discount their wins. I'm not trying to get on the bandwagon.
I'm saying the Patriots and 4th place play the same schedule.
They have a ton of cap. They have a ton of cap space to play around with. They got their franchise quarterback. They have a great head coach. They overachieved this year for sure. I'm just enjoying the ride, man. I'm rooting for them, and I don't have any I'm not going to be disappointed if they bump into a Houston defense and they get bumped, because it wouldn't surprise me at all. Buffalo for that matter.
This is going to be Brock Purdy this weekend. God down, guys. That's how he's going to be moving.
I'll actually stick around for that. What does that fucking mean? What does that mean?
That's going to be him moving, trying to escape the pressure, man. Not
just say what that means. Because it's going like that. You go like that.
Act like he's moving real fast.
Saying?
But he's
what
really
are you saying?
Not going anywhere.
Use your words. Don't be a toddler. What's
I just told you.
I thought the usage was great. I
get it. I get it too. Yeah. That's.
You know what that means? That means he's going to hit his 18.5 rushing yards. So there you go. All right. Well, as long as Pete doesn't have anything else clever to say in his newly painted office, which looks incredible. Hey, Mike, Sunday pizza bet. You know what, Ben? I'll text you on the side, dude. Yeah, we could do that.
That's Will. His name's Will.
That
was Will.
You know what?
I called him Steve. I called him Steve. Was it last night that we did this? I called him Steve because his last name is Stevenson.
You call him Steve,
throw me all off.
Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. We'll talk about it. You know, maybe it's a good sign of disrespect that I call him by the wrong name. It's going to be between the Niners and the Eagles.
Okay.
Everyone leave Hoff alone. Yes, I may be against him this week, but he's my Hoff. Right. You guys are all rude. All of you are rude. It's a great time to end the show.
The Niners. I picked the Niners.
Don't. Ben,
I told you if I bumped into Lucy Burge, I would give her the digits for you. What the hell?
Yeah. No, I saw Lucy once, and she. Yeah. Can I tell you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not as attractive in person as she's.
Wow, you can't be saying that on live.
You just that's it. Now I can't give her the digits. What the hell?
Well, I was praying for them. No, it's fine. I don't need them. It's fine. It's all good.
Lucy Burge, she's 105 years old, dude.
I probably won't bump into her anyways.
So I can't say anything negative. You could say she's 105, and that's fine.
What do you mean, dude? This is her. This is who you're talking about, dude.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Like, all right, we're gonna end this show, guys. I hope everybody had a great time. Catch you next time.